Have you ever wanted something so badly that you lost everything trying to get it? Well, let me tell you about a little monkey who learned this lesson the hard way. Deep in the heart of a lush green jungle, where the trees stood tall and the vines dangled like nature's playground, lived a mischievous little monkey named Milo. He was small but quick, clever but greedy. Unlike the other monkeys who were content with what they had, Milo always wanted more. More food, more fun, more of everything. One sunny morning, as Milo swung through the trees, his sharp eyes spotted something that made his heart race with excitement. There, hanging from a low branch, was the biggest, ripest banana he had ever seen. It was golden yellow, slightly curved, and looked so soft that it seemed to glow under the sunlight. Milo's stomach growled and his mouth watered. "Oh, wow! This banana looks perfect!" he exclaimed, rubbing his little hands together. "I should eat it right now." But just as he was about to pluck it, a thought crossed his mind. What if there's a bigger banana somewhere else? His eyes darted around. Maybe if he climbed a little higher, he would find an even larger, juicier banana. His heart pounded with excitement at the idea. With a greedy grin, Milo left the banana hanging and climbed up the tree. As he reached the higher branches, his eyes widened. There it was, another banana, slightly bigger than the first one. "Aha, I knew it! This one is better," Milo chattered, quickly reaching for it. But before he could grab it, his gaze shifted once again. Across the river, on a tree with golden leaves, he saw something even more tempting. A whole tree filled with giant bananas. They looked plumper, shinier, and much tastier than the one he was holding. Milo's excitement skyrocketed. "Why settle for one banana when I can have a whole bunch?" he thought. Without hesitation, he dropped the banana he had just found and made his way toward the riverbank. His little feet scurried across the branches, his tail swishing behind him. He could already imagine himself munching on those delicious bananas across the river. When he arrived, he found a small, rickety wooden bridge connecting the two sides of the river. The bridge looked old and weak, with planks missing here and there. But Milo was too focused on his prize to care. Carefully, he stepped onto the bridge, feeling it creak beneath his weight. But just then, something caught his eye. Below the bridge, in the clear water of the river, was a reflection of an enormous banana, much bigger than the ones he had seen so far. Milo's eyes gleamed with greed. He gasped, leaning over to get a better look. "If I grab that banana, I'll have the biggest one in the jungle," he thought. But little did he know, he was about to make a big mistake. Milo stood on the rickety wooden bridge, his little heart pounding with excitement. Below him, the river's surface was smooth and glassy, reflecting the sky above. But Milo wasn't interested in the water or the sky. His eyes were locked onto something much more tempting. Right there in the reflection was the biggest banana he had ever seen. It was enormous, glowing like gold, and looked even juicier than the bananas he had ignored before. His mouth watered at the thought of sinking his teeth into it. "This is it," Milo whispered to himself. "This is the banana I was meant to have." Without thinking twice, he leaned forward, stretching his tiny arms toward the water. His fingers reached out, just inches away from the reflection. His excitement grew, his tail twitched, and for a moment he felt victorious. But then, the weak wooden plank beneath his feet suddenly snapped. With a startled yelp, Milo lost his balance, his arms flailing wildly as he tumbled forward. Cold water engulfed him as he hit the river, the current immediately pulling him away from the bridge. Panic shot through his body as he struggled to keep his head above the water. He kicked and flailed, gasping for air, but the river was too strong. The banana he had been reaching for, it wasn't real. It had only been a reflection, an illusion, and now he had nothing, not even the small bananas he had ignored along the way. "No, no, what have I done?" Milo sputtered, his arms growing tired as the river carried him downstream. "I had a banana, but I wanted more, and now I have nothing." The water swirled around him, faster and stronger. Branches and leaves floated past, but they were too slippery to hold on to. The jungle trees on the riverbank blurred as he was swept further away from his home. Fear gripped his heart. Would he ever make it back? Then through the rush of the river, a deep voice called out, "Hold on, little one!" Milo turned his head, his eyes wide with hope. Swimming toward him was a large, wise turtle with a strong, sturdy shell. With slow but powerful strokes, the turtle reached him and said, "Climb onto my back, or you'll be carried away." Without hesitation, Milo scrambled onto the turtle's shell, his tiny body shivering from the cold. The turtle swam against the current, steady and unshaken, guiding them safely toward the riverbank. Please like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. At last, Milo felt the soft, warm ground beneath his hands and collapsed onto the grass, breathing heavily. His heart was still racing, his fur drenched, and his body exhausted. But more than anything, he felt empty inside. His eyes turned back to the river, where the reflection of the giant banana had disappeared. His stomach growled, but this time, it wasn't hunger that made him feel sick. It was regret. "I was so greedy," he whispered. "I wanted something bigger, something better, and now I have nothing." The wise turtle chuckled softly and sat beside him. "Ah, young one, that is the way of greed. It makes you chase more and more, until in the end, you lose everything." Milo lowered his head in shame. He had learned a painful lesson. The banana he had first found, the one that had been perfect, was now gone. He had let it slip away in his search for something more. Just then, he heard a rustling sound nearby. He turned and saw another monkey, a smaller one, happily munching on a banana. Milo's eyes widened in recognition. It was his banana, the one he had abandoned earlier. The little monkey grinned, taking another bite. This is the best banana ever." Milo let out a deep sigh. That could have been him. With a heavy heart, he stood up and dusted himself off. He had nothing left now, but at least he had gained wisdom. He would never make this mistake again. As the sun started to set, casting an orange glow over the jungle, Milo walked back toward his home, wiser but hungrier than ever. Moral of the story: greed makes you lose everything. What you have now is more valuable than what you might get later. Please like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting stories.